everyone, it's Robin, RS Island Crafts, and welcome to my studio. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I'm going to show you the crafty goodness that I've been working on this week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me during the Scrappy pumpkin table topper tutorial this past week. I love making pumpkins. I love Scrappy, so Scrappy pumpkins are just right up there for me. And as you know, I am really hooked on these two fabrics. There is a good, well, a close representation of what the fabrics look like. This one is a little bit of a lighter brown. I try to give you a good look at the colors here in the videos so that when I put it in the shop and I don't have the best pictures, you can kind of get an idea. And then the fun pumpkin on the back with the now very popular white and teal pumpkins on there. I love these pumpkins. These are some of my favorites when they have all of the bumpy ridges and they have all those nice colors and highlighting of it. And the little pumpkin butt. And of course you have to have your autumn leaves and your sunflowers and what else all of these flowers are. So I really like the way this table topper or mini wall quilt turned out. So this should be in the shop by the time you see it today. I plan on editing this video and getting it uploaded and then sitting down and entering a few things into the shop. And one of those things will be this project bag. I had a request to make a project bag kind of similar to what the one I had before. I actually have the same fabrics left over from a jelly roll from doing that project, plus some other jelly rolls. These are from Connecting Threads, and I want to say they're from 2009. So it's a nice deep bag. It sits up nice and tall so you can fold the top down when you're knitting or crocheting. I did sew the lining in so when you're pulling out your yarn balls and stuff, the lining's not going to come out. Nice little tassel on the zipper, and I was able to use one of my oddly colored zippers that when I buy zippers from Zip It on Etsy, I get the multi-pack of the variety of colors, plus I usually get some black, white, and gray. But when you get the multi-pack rainbow colors, they're not straight rainbow, they're just a variety of colors. So this one I thought worked out really great with some of the fabrics that are in here. And there's the other side. Now this is a piece of yardage that I've been hoarding. It actually is a gradient from this dark color all the way down to this bright yellowish green. So kind of hard to see here in the video, but this has a little bit more of a green to it. I've been hoarding that bit. I think it's probably a yard. I've been hoarding it for quite a while, but it just works so perfectly with this bag that I went ahead and I used it for the bottom of this project bag. And then I added a nice bright white handle. I love that contrast against there. It's not something that goes with it, but it's the same fabric as the inside. So I thought that was nice. And I have the detachable handle. So if it really irks them or they don't want it on there, I know some people like it on the zipper, but I don't think this lobster claw will fit on this style of zipper, because when you get the handbag zippers they tend to be larger. Oh look, it does fit. So they can always add it on like this. I see this a lot in the project bag world. I don't do that because sometimes if you're hanging on to this and it gets a little heavy or something, it can automatically open, and it's just one of those things that if it can happen, for me it will happen. I've made project bags in the past and they're kind of hit and miss with you guys. Sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't. I've always used a solid fabric. I can see that I need to give this a bit of an iron and of course pull out some threads. This part hasn't been pressed yet and gotten all ready to be photographed for the shop. But those sides, just so you know, they actually do come out and they're even all the way up. It just looked really bad in the video. But anyways, you guys aren't very thrilled with just project bags. It's not something you guys need. But I do find that when I do the scrappier ones, they are a little bit more popular. So if anyone's interested in some scrappy project bags or bags of this size, just let me know and I'll work on some to get them in the shop. This bag is finishing at about a little over 11 inches wide and about a little over 10 inches tall, without giving exact measurements of like 11 and a quarter and 10 and a quarter or something like that. I used the cotton batting in there because a lot of times with project bags, the yarn will help it stand up or whatever you put in it. But when you're done and you take your project, you want to be able to fold it down and put it inside a larger tote bag or store it on the shelf. So project bags don't tend to be super stiff bags. Most people do like them a little softer. But then, of course, I'm sure there's something for everybody, right? I made this as the quilt as you go method, and I started here and I just kind of worked my way around, and then I started there. You can tell because that's a solid fabric there and a solid fabric there, and I thought it would just fun to start with a solid and then work my way around with the crazy. But because of that, I was cutting little bits off the jelly roll strip. I would cut some off and put it on there, and then when I was trimming off the sides and stuff, these strips that went past the edge, I ended up with a lot of offcuts. So I went ahead and I started on 2 Scrappy fabric note cards. I haven't done the stitching around them or signed the back, but otherwise they are done. I have tons of little stitching, and these are just laid on top of fusible fleece, and I just press them all down so the fusible fleece holds it, and then I stitch it like crazy, making sure that I stitch down the points and like the edges, which is why you get some wonky bits and then a whole bunch of straight edges, because I tend to like steer when I'm driving the sewing machine so that I go over the different areas that need to be held down. So I'm just building up a fabric postcard collection. I know you guys are like, Robin, you've talked about this so much. I'm not ready to do the postcard club until I get to Arizona. That's what I'm waiting for right now, because to start it up right now would be difficult when it comes time to move, to pack up this house, to drive across the country, and to get the next house unpacked, where a lot of stuff is going to be on the truck getting moved across, or the pods, or whatever we're doing. I won't be able to bring all of my Etsy items from my shop with me in my vehicle. Plus, I won't be able to mail them while I'm on the road. So there's going to be a little point where I'll give you plenty of warning that the shop will close down and then reopen once we get settled. And I have all of, as soon as I have my Etsy products in my hands and my printer and all the things that I need to ship items, then I'll reopen the Etsy shop. So there shouldn't be but maybe a week or 2 delay where the shop is closed. Just a little heads up in case it happens during the crucial Christmas shopping spree time and stuff like that, because of course that's when it could happen. Otherwise, it'll be in February, maybe January. We're getting really close though, because we're already midway through October. Today is Monday the 16th, so we are at the halfway point basically. So then we have to be there by March, so that just leaves us November, December, January, and February. So you know sometime in those 4 months, we're going to be trekking across the country. So that means it's crush time for me, and I need to really buckle down. I've been feeling kind of sluggish. I get these phases where I feel like my body is full of mud or jello, and I'm just kind of like wobbling around, and I don't have anywhere to go. And if you take jello out of a container and you just put it on the table, it kind of wobbles all like this, and eventually it just kind of liquefies again and goes everywhere. Sometimes I get these phases when I just feel like jello and I don't know where I'm gonna go. And I'm in one of those moods right now. Thankfully, they pass after a couple of weeks and I can work through them. I just have to work a little harder. Now, with my patrons, we didn't have to work very hard at all. We were learning how to make, oh, I like them turned this way, the maple leaf block. So we made some maple leaf blocks and then we turned them into a mug rug. This one is an actual larger mug rug, so this would be fun to put a little glass bowl or a candle there. So maybe you want to have, well, if you had like candy corn, you could always put some candy corn there because these have the nice fall colors. Or you could put a little plate with some stones in it, or maybe you collect some leaves. You can put a glass, you know, those glass jars that are like this, like a brandy jar, and put some leaves or some pine cones or something in it. I think that would be a really nice rug to go underneath there. But as I always say to you guys, make a practice one first. So this is my practice one. I knew I could make it. My practice one was more about how to get it pressed and whether or not I like it pressed this way. I always do this thing when I'm working with my patrons. We make a lot of half square triangles. Do I want to press them open or press them to the side? At what stage do I want to press half of them open? Do I want to press them all this way or that way, or what I want to do? So I made the practice one just to see how it is, and then I went ahead and I pressed all my seams open, and you can see now that I have this nice flat piece. I did the echo quilting all around the leaf. I think I used, yes, a light tan thread. I'm finding that I'm sewing with more and more lighter colors for the quilting threads now, and that I don't have as many in my thread stash as I thought. So here is this fun mushroom fabric, and you can see my wonky wavy lines that I used on that. This mushroom fabric is really fun because it's a little bit of a different shape. The mushroom caps almost remind me of a nose. Can you see how the nostril comes down like this and then it goes up to the tip of the nose? That's just what these remind me of because they're not the normal round bunny ones, similar to that guy there. Once again, it's a little bit lighter in actuality, and this has a nice pale creamy yellow background. And on the back I just went with the favorite brown fabric, and I used the same binding all the way around. I really enjoyed working on this. I love the maple leaves, but there's a what they call a modern or a new maple leaf block where it's a lot of tiny squares. They put a lot of little squares through here just to, I don't know, make it more complicated, more in depth, bring in more colors, pixelated or something like that. But I'm old school. I love just the simple blocks. I like the way they look, like the way they get sewn into the quilt. And I think I would really enjoy having a quilt with a bunch of these, maybe mixed in with some flying geese, because that's my other passion right now, flying geese quilt blocks. This one is going into my orphan quilt block stash. I'm going to be combining them into a quilt next year. And then the maple leaf, a mug rug, a candle rug, side table, mini quilt, whatever you want to call it, whatever I label it once it gets into the shop, that will go in the Etsy shop also. My goal is for today. And lately for me, it's just about motivating and staying on track and not zoning out or wandering around, wandering away from this space right here. The other thing that's going in the shop this week, finally, you guys have been waiting so long for these, are the Christmas scraps and the Halloween scraps. The Christmas scraps are in 1 pound packages, and I always put a little extra. I usually shoot for an extra 2 ounces just in case something happened and the way I weighed it was a little off. I'd always rather you have a little bit extra. So I have 2 1 pound bundles. You can see that one actually has a larger piece of fabric in it. The rest of these are a mixture of 1.5 and 2.5 inch strips. Now for the Halloween side, Halloween isn't one of the things that everyone always wants, so I was able to put these in 1/2 pound packages, so you could purchase them in 1/2 pound increments and then just get as many as you want. I have 6 of these that are ready to go. Everything is currently in Ziploc baggies. It's just easier for me to organize that way, but once I ship it to you, then I put it in a different type of shipping sleeve. If you've ordered from me before, you know the little clear shipping sleeve that I'm talking about. Everything will get folded up nice and neat because right now they're just all laid out in the width of my container here, and that's definitely not the width of my packing sleeves, envelopes, or whatever. So I will go ahead and organize those, but this stays neater longer because those sleeves are easy to pop the seams and bust, so I can easily put these and then just stick them into my tub. Remember, these are going to have duplicates. They are definitely going to have duplicate fabrics. There are multiples of the same fabric in here just for me to bring it up to the 1/2 pound or 1 pound. And if you order 2 of the Halloween fabrics, you're definitely going to get duplicates in here and duplicates in here. So you could get anywhere from 2 to 4 strips of the same fabric. They're not all going to be with the fabric because it's whatever bit of Halloween fabric I had, whether it's a piece of a layer cake, a fat quarter, or bits of yardage. Some of them have had like a bag cut out of them, so it's just whatever's left. So there's no guarantee on actual length, so you will have duplicates. Be prepared for that. I did have to add some white fabric just to bump them up to make sure they were over their half-pound weight class there. But I was all right with that because I felt that white fabric can be used in anything. I know I'm always looking for some type of a white fabric to go with things. Plus, I think the white can still go with some of the Halloween fabrics. Those are going in the shop today also. So today, the morning time is dedicated to WiP It Wednesday videos. And then in the afternoon, we'll just be sitting down and putting everything in the shop and getting it ready. Remember to keep an eye out on the community tab if you can see it, whether it's on your phone, tablet, laptop, or desktop. The community tab is one of the ones down below underneath the videos or underneath my main page, where it'll say things like videos and playlists and live, and then it has community and questions and about me and all that stuff. So there's usually a long list underneath on my main page. And if you're able to see the community tab, it'll come up in your front page of YouTube when you're watching for, whatever you're subscribed to. If you're subscribed to this channel, the community tab will automatically go up with the long form videos, the short videos, and then the community tab. If you're unable to see the community tab, if you heart my Etsy shop, then when I put new things in, it'll be listed. You'll get a little... If you do notifications from Etsy, they'll notify you that something new is in my shop. Otherwise, when you go into the app or the Etsy page, you just click on the little heart and it'll show you for all the shops that you've hearted what new items they have. The community tab is usually the fastest way, so if you're trying to get something that you know sells out quickly, that's the place to go. So once these are all in the shop, I'll be working on my videos during the week, getting other items into the shop. I really need to buckle down. There's projects that I need to make in time for holiday shopping, which is like now. So I need to work on those. And also I need to start cutting for the novelty scraps. And those are going to be, pretty sure they're going to be in either 12-ounce or 1-pound bundles. When I do the novelty bundles, what I plan on doing is I plan on laying out the yardage on my cutting board, putting the stripology ruler down on top of it, probably cutting 1.5 to 2.5. I did a poll to see which ones you guys wanted, if you wanted a mixture or if you wanted all 2.5-inch strips, and it was actually about 50-50, give or take a little here and there. It was pretty even, that some of you want a mix and some of you want just 2.5-inch strips. So we'll see how it goes, but if I'm doing yardage, I should be able to stick with mostly one size strip. So I thought I would just say the stripology ruler is 22 inches or whatever. I'll cut this many, and those are the bundles. So when I take strip 1 and I create bundle 1, that is the only strip of that fabric with the fabric of the white fabric. Then I'll lay down the next fabric and I'll go ahead and cut that, and we'll do that. I was actually thinking about making the beaded pumpkin on this Friday's live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern, and also bringing out some novelty scraps and just cutting some things up with the stripology ruler, just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like and how it works. Again, I haven't played with it yet. I can just cut strips, but that's really the main idea for it anyways. So we'll just go ahead and play with that this Friday. Just have a little sit down chat and just do that. It'll probably be a shorter live stream than usual. And at the time, we'll probably also, if I remember, if I don't mention it to me, talking about the changes that I'm thinking about implementing into this channel when I get to Arizona. Now, nothing's gonna change. There's still gonna be WiP It Wednesdays. There's still gonna be tutorials, and there's still gonna be live streams. But just tune in to the live stream or tune in to the replay to hear some of my thoughts about things that I'm going to be changing a little bit next year. Because I feel like every channel needs to grow each year, and things are different for each content creator in their lives, and there's just some things that need to be just tweaked a little bit. So your scrappy word for today is project bag. Again, these are called a project bag, but you can put anything you want in them. They don't have to be for cross stitch, embroidery, knitting, crochet, or whatever. You can use them for anything you want. So maybe you want to tuck a few things in there for snacks for toddlers and stuff like that. So just let me know, is this something that if you saw it in a shop, would you want to purchase something that's scrappy and about this size? Should I make more for the shop, or should I say nope, they take a little bit of time, it's time better used somewhere else? Thank you guys so much for always hanging out with me, for putting up with the crazy Robin knits, because I'm a little bit jello. I'm a little bit wiggly. You never know which way I'm going to wobble. And I appreciate that you guys come back and watch each video. Thank you all for all of your great comments. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and join me at 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday, which is the 20th, for the live stream. Bye.